This was brought to you by the Storyteller on YouTube and Facebook.
3. The dark liquid ran down my throat like molten lava. I felt the heat rush to my face. Vanta laughed uproariously. "Sip it, boy, sip it," he said. "This is strong stuff, my own make gin generously flavored with sloe," and he laughed again. "It is too strong for young foxes, it'll turn the foxy streaks in your hair white." He was referring to a patch of gingerish fox-colored hair at each side of my head, surrounded by the black, which was how I got my nickname, not simply my surname. From then on, I sipped tiny bits. In fact, I didn't finish my tumbler until Granny and Vanta had finished their third. There was still a little left in the bottom of mine when Vanta took the beaker back. "You have done well," he said. "It is an acquired taste. Probably I should have put good woodland stream water into yours. Anyway, let us be off." He tossed the bags over his shoulder onto their bulging back situation, and strode off, Granny at his side and me scampering after. All the time, the dog watched me, its nose down on its paws but showing no sign of wanting to come with us. "Can I call the dog?" I asked. "Maybe he'd like a walk." "He wouldn't," said Vanta. "He's old and rheumaticy, and anyway, he's the reserve guard to look after things in my camp." He said it so sternly I took it as a sign he wished to speak to Granny without me taking part. I listened to what they had to say as we stepped along a wide track skirted by a range of trees and grassy knolls, bushes and patches of flowers. "Have you seen the Germans?" Granny asked. "Oh yes, but they do not bother us. The ordinary people are very frightened, because there are stories of them rounding up Jews, and there are many children of El who live round here. I suppose they want them to work for them, I don't know. Anyway, we see nothing of them here in the woods. Why should they bother us?" "I am not convinced. In fact, I am worried," replied Gran. "These are not like ordinary soldiers who have a quarrel with more soldiers from somewhere else. They've taken Austria, the Ruhr, Sudetenland and Czechoslovakia, simply taking what they wanted and done it with ease. They haven't yet finished, and now there will be war." The trains were full of Germans, all laughing and joking, putting their feet on the seats, swearing at the train staff, drinking, singing bawdy songs. They think it is all over, they think that everything is theirs, that they can do whatever they like. That means everyone who is not Nazi is in danger. I cannot think that. Vanta did a quick cartwheel. "We're gypsies, my dear aunt, we matter to no one. We have no argument with anyone, in fact, we might even do well by playing our instruments for them, and the women and girls dancing for them. As they are the victors, they will have plenty of money, other people's, I grant you, but money." Granny shook her head vigorously. "If we play for them, it will be the devil's tune, and if we dance for them it will be the dance of death and ghosts." "I had forgotten what an old pessimist you are," he laughed. "You didn't want us to go to England in the first place, they say. But what did you get from that? A husband, a son and a grandson. But a dead husband, a dead son, a dead daughter-in-law, and I can smell death here, too, terrible death." I could not stop myself. "What do you mean, Granny V?" I asked, fearing her reply. "Ah, now you're frightening the boy," said Vanta. "There is no need for all this gloom. God has given us the forest, and the sun, and the rain, and the moon, and the diamond stars. Why should we talk of death? Because it comes." "What do you mean, Granny?" "I cannot tell you now, boy, but you must listen to me, and listen to Vanta, because I have decided you will live with him now and not in the main camp. I want him to teach you all he knows, the fiddle of course, but also the cures for people and animals, because you will need them, and even more about the foods of the forest. But, Granny, I want to live with you and with the others. Oh, you will still see plenty of me and them, but as you know, I have the second sight, and I see you have a job to do, though not yet, and I'm not even sure you will succeed." I plucked up courage. Are you always right, Granny, in your second sight? Usually, not always, but I'm confident this time. First, Vanta must get you ready for the quest which you have ahead of you. Quest? I didn't know what she was on about. Quest? I asked. What do you mean? I never got an answer for at that moment. Vanta gave a shrill two-note whistle, and in the distance, I heard a two-note reply.
This was brought to you by The Storyteller on YouTube and Facebook. Listen to our podcast on any of these platforms: Anchor, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Casts, RadioPublic, Spotify. Support us on Patreon. And check us out on Discord. All the links can be found in the video description below. We thank you for your participation. If you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, share, make comments. We love feedback.